Woman is desire that never settles, and that's why she's dangerous to the fragile mind. Sigmund Freud. You think you know women. You think you've seen enough, lived enough, read enough. But there's something Freud saw and never fully said, something too wild, too raw, too dangerous for his time, and maybe even for ours. He studied them not like subjects, but like mirrors, and what he saw terrified him. He called it the dark continent, not because women were dark, but because no man ever dared to walk far enough inside to map the terrain. He asked, "What does a woman want?" People thought he gave up on the answer, but he didn't. He just stopped saying it out loud, because the truth wasn't convenient. Here's what no one tells you, not your therapist, not your coach, not your self-help books. You don't understand women because you were never meant to. Society taught you how to handle them, please them, avoid their rage, fear their silence, but never understand. And here's the secret Freud started to uncover. You can't understand women the way you understand instructions. You don't figure them out. You survive them. You feel them. You meet yourself through them. And if you don't, you'll keep falling into the same trap. The one where you meet someone amazing and lose her. The one where she turns cold, starts controlling you, tests you, and eventually breaks you. And you'll say, "What did I do wrong?" But that's the wrong question. She was never looking for right. She was looking for real. Freud knew it. He watched countless men collapse, not because they failed, but because they pretended. This video isn't about blaming women. And it's not about worshipping them either. It's about the raw truth most men never hear, and most women don't dare say. There are hot 10 brutal truths about women that Freud saw. He didn't call them that, but his notes, his patience, his silence, they all pointed to them. And once you hear them, you won't be able to unhear them. You'll see them in your partner, in your mother, in your ex, in yourself. But first, understand this. If you don't know these truths, you'll keep repeating cycles, falling in love, getting lost, losing yourself, hating her, and then doing it all over again. Because women, they carry codes, not to confuse you, but to wake you up. And those who refuse to decode live half lives, safe, predictable, numb. But those who listen, really listen, become dangerous, not to women, to illusions. Because the truth is, she doesn't want a nice guy. She doesn't want a good provider. She wants something you're terrified to give her. Your raw presence, your emotional risk, your spine, your surrender. She wants you to stay when she storms. She wants you to breathe when she explodes. She wants you to see her, not fix her, to feel her, not manage her. And if you can't do that, she'll destroy you, not because she's cruel, because she's unfulfilled. And deep down, so are you. Because whether you're a man trying to love a woman, or a woman trying to understand herself, these truths matter, not for peace, but for truth. Because the moment you know what Freud saw, you can stop pretending and start meeting what's real. And trust me, there is nothing more terrifying or intimate than that. If these words hit something, subscribe to the channel. More people need to hear the truths that were never meant to be public. And check the Telegram. There's more there, more than I'm allowed to say here. This is only the beginning. The next part, the 10 brutal truths Freud saw, will not be easy. But you're ready, or you wouldn't be here. They told you women are a mystery, that they're complicated, emotional, illogical. But that's not the truth. The truth is much darker and much simpler. Women are not a puzzle to solve. They are an intelligence the world never bothered to translate. And Freud? He spent decades trying to decode them. What he found wasn't chaos, it was structure. But the structure didn't fit into the world men had built. That's why it was denied, mocked, erased. He realized something few had the courage to admit. Women don't operate from logic the way men do. Not because they lack it, but because they access something deeper. Their choices, their storms, their moods, they come from layers of memory and instinct buried under generations of repression. Freud began to see that female behavior is not random. It's a reaction to being unseen, unheard, misread. And when you misread a woman, she doesn't correct you. She tests you over and over until you either grow or collapse. One of the reasons so many men fail in relationships is not because they're weak. It's because they still believe in the myth of doing the right thing. But with women, the right thing isn't enough. The right thing without presence, without truth, without emotional spine, it's empty. And they feel that. They sense the performance. They smell the fear. And they react, not to punish you, but to wake you the hell up. Because to a woman, a man who performs is more dangerous than a man who disappears. Freud's silence on this wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Because to publish what he saw would have turned the world upside down. He watched how women carry rage in their softness. He saw how they bury desire beneath duty. He noticed how they surrender their truth to preserve the illusion of love. And he realized this isn't just pain. This is structure. This is the architecture of repression. But no one wanted to hear that. Not then, not now. The world still tells women to be nice, to be pretty, to be calm, and then blames them when they break. But the truth? They're not breaking. They're cracking the shell society forced around them. And most men are too afraid to watch what's inside. Because what's inside isn't a princess. It's not some sweet, angelic muse. It's raw chaos. It's hunger. It's power. And that, more than anything, is what Freud saw. He began to understand that women don't want peace. They want truth. And the moment they feel it's missing, even slightly, they will test, sabotage, provoke, withdraw, destroy, not to hurt you, but to see what you're made of. That's not manipulation. That's survival. Because for a woman, emotional safety isn't built through words. It's built through your nervous system, through your eyes, through your silence, through how you hold her when she doesn't want to be held. If you've ever had a woman turn ice cold for no reason, if you've ever felt punished without knowing why, if you've ever been told you just don't get it, now you do. She's not crazy, she's not broken, she's been waiting for something real. And if you can't meet her there, she'll collapse the relationship. Not because she wants to, because she has to. Most men never get this. They keep thinking women are unstable, irrational, emotional wrecks. But they're not. They're just done pretending, done playing roles, done adjusting to your comfort level. Freud saw this coming, and he warned us, not in bold statements, but in his case studies, his unfinished thoughts, his private notes. Because even he knew the world wasn't ready. But maybe you are, because you're still here, and that means something broke inside you too. Something that's tired of the fake solutions, the nice guy games, the endless confusion. This is the beginning of the end, of pretending. The next part? We go into the 10 brutal truths Freud uncovered. One by one. Use them carefully, because once you see them, you can never go back. Truth 1. A woman doesn't want happiness. She wants tension. Not constant drama, not pain, but aliveness. She needs emotional movement, contrast, depth. Predictable love feels safe, but lifeless. She'll trade comfort for intensity without even realizing it. That's why she'll provoke when everything seems fine. It's not sabotage, it's survival. Stillness feels like death to her nervous system. Freud noticed how his female patients would unconsciously destroy peace just to feel alive again. Truth 2. She doesn't actually want safety. She wants polarity, the edge between control and surrender. She needs to feel your gravity before she can soften. Most men try to make her feel safe by becoming passive, accommodating, non-threatening. And that's exactly when she disconnects, because she doesn't feel held. She feels alone. Freud understood that women fall not for kindness, but for depth. Safety isn't about softness. It's about groundedness, the ability to stay present in her chaos. Truth 3. Her deepest desire is to be fully seen, not in beauty, but in shadow. Compliments bore her. Attention flatters her. But what melts her is when you see the part of her she hides even from herself. Her rage, her shame, her guilt, her need. Freud wrote that many women feared their own emotions more than they feared judgment. They needed someone who could see into the dark and not flinch. Truth 4. When a woman lashes out, she's not trying to hurt you. She's checking if you'll leave. Her chaos is her question. Can you handle me? Most men fail this test because they take it personally. They try to fix, defend, argue, withdraw. But what she needs is your grounded presence, not silence out of fear, not reaction out of ego, just the capacity to hold the storm. Freud observed that the more intense the outburst, the more desperate the longing behind it. Truth 5. Control is not power, it's fear. Women who micromanage, criticize, correct, they're not trying to dominate. They're trying not to fall apart. Freud saw how female control patterns were often reactions to emotional neglect. She learned that if she doesn't control, no one holds the space, and that's terrifying. So she fills it. Until someone stronger, not physically, but emotionally, teaches her she can relax. Truth 6. Many women don't crave love. They crave identity. They want to find themselves in you. That's why they merge, mirror, adapt, and later resent you for the same. Freud wrote about the loss of self in women's roles, how they become what's expected, then feel trapped in the very image they helped create. She doesn't want to be saved. She wants to be reflected truthfully, even if it hurts. Truth 7. Sex is not release. It's revelation. She uses physical connection to access emotional truth. If she doesn't feel emotionally safe, her body will shut down. If she trusts you, she'll open not just physically, but psychically. And if you betray that space, she'll remember. Freud's patients spoke about feeling exposed after intimacy, like their soul had been read. It wasn't about orgasm, it was about energetic imprint. Truth 8. Martyrdom is manipulation in disguise. The woman who sacrifices everything rarely does it freely. She's often bargaining, love for service, loyalty for silence. When it goes unrecognized, she turns bitter. Not because she gave too much, but because she gave without being seen. Freud noted how suppressed resentment in women often masked itself as devotion. She wasn't being kind, she was being erased. Truth 9. Tears are not always pain. Sometimes they are strategy. A woman's tears can be a release, but they can also be a message. Don't come closer, or prove you care. Freud never demonized this. He saw it as emotional intelligence, the use of expression to shape experience. The problem is when even she doesn't know what her tears mean. That's when things get dangerous. Truth 10. Silence is her final weapon. When a woman goes quiet, it's not peace, it's judgment. She's already withdrawn emotionally. She's gathering evidence, running simulations, calculating exits. Freud described the silent woman as the most emotionally lethal, not because she yells, but because she's already gone. Her body may stay. Her heart is gone. These 10 truths aren't rules. They're patterns. Freud saw them emerge again and again across women of different ages, classes, cultures. They weren't feminine flaws. They were signals of something deeper, the intelligence of a psyche trying to stay alive in a world that never truly saw her. Ignore these truths and you'll be confused forever. Learn to read them and you'll see her, maybe for the first time. Most relationships don't fall apart because of what's said. They fall apart because of what's never understood. You think she left because of something small, an argument, a missed text, a phase, but what actually ended things started much earlier. The moment she stopped feeling you, not your presence, your emotional truth. That's what women track. Not your logic, not your plans, your energetic integrity. And once it cracks, even a little, she starts to disconnect. Not out of cruelty, out of instinct. You may think you are doing everything right, providing, listening, being kind, but none of that means anything if she can't feel your root, your spine, your ability to stay connected when she goes dark. Because when a woman loses herself in emotion, she doesn't want advice. She wants to feel that you're still there, still breathing, still grounded. And most men miss that test completely. They either shut down or fight back. Neither works. When Freud watched couples fall apart, it wasn't because they didn't love each other. It was because one or both of them were acting, performing roles. And the performance always breaks, especially in front of a woman who sees through masks. She might not say it, but she feels it. She knows when your "I'm fine" is a lie, when your politeness is hiding resentment, when your touch is mechanical, and the more you fake, the colder she becomes. The truth is brutal. A woman would rather feel pain than numbness. She'd rather be broken by truth than comforted by a lie. And that's why she pushes. That's why she tests. Not because she wants drama, but because she wants something real to hold on to. Something that won't collapse under pressure. And if you can't offer that, she'll find other ways to feel alive. Withdrawal, criticism, distance, or another connection entirely. Most men don't lose women because they're bad people. They lose them because they never dared to go deep enough. They thought surface-level effort could fill a depth-level hunger. It can't. And until you face this, really face it, you'll keep repeating the same story with different names. She's not the problem. You're not broken. But the space between you was never built for truth. And without truth, nothing survives. So what do you do with all this? Knowing these truths is one thing, living with them is another. And the first step isn't fixing anything, it's seeing. Seeing the moments where you go numb, where you start to manage instead of feel, where you try to be good instead of being honest. That's where everything breaks. Not in the arguments, in the places where you abandon your center to stay likable, needed, accepted. And women feel that instantly. They might not say it, but their body reacts. Their tone shifts. Their openness fades. Because something real is gone. Start by tracking your reactions. When she gets emotional, do you tense up? When she criticizes, do you collapse or defend? When she pulls away, do you chase or shut down? These aren't just behaviors, they're clues. They show you where your nervous system still thinks relationship equals danger. And as long as your body believes that, no technique will work. Presence starts in the body, in breath, in staying, when everything in you wants to run. Second, stop trying to fix her. She's not a project, she's a mirror. Everything that frustrates you in her is a reflection of something unclaimed in you. Her emotional storms, your fear of feeling, her intensity, your avoidance of truth, her silence, your discomfort with the unknown. Once you see this, she stops being a problem and starts being a map. A brutal, beautiful map back to your own wholeness. And finally, practice rupture and repair. Let things break and rebuild them with truth, not with gifts, not with apologies you don't feel, with presence, with words that cost you something, with breath you had to fight to keep steady. That's what creates trust, not perfection, but your ability to stay connected through the storm. That's the real work, and it starts now. You don't need to become someone else to meet her. You need to become more of who you already are, but without the masks. The masks of control, of performance, of being the good guy, who never says no, never gets angry, never shows weakness. Those aren't strengths, they're walls. And every time you hide behind them, you train her to stop trusting you. Not because you're unkind, but because she can't feel you. And without that feeling, she doesn't feel safe, no matter how much you provide. Presence is not about being calm all the time. It's about being real. If you're angry, own it. If you're scared, feel it. If you're confused, say it. Women don't need you to have all the answers. They need to know you're not pretending. They need to know that behind your silence, there's truth, not withdrawal. That behind your strength, there's feeling, not numbness. Because what holds a woman isn't your words, it's your nervous system. When she spirals, when she cries, when she throws her fire at you, she's not attacking, she's revealing. She's saying, this is where it hurts. And what she wants isn't a solution. It's your capacity to be with what she just exposed, to not run, to not freeze, to not fix, just to stay. That's what rewires her. That's what builds the connection she actually longs for. Not the illusion of harmony, but the realness of shared chaos that doesn't scare you away. The deeper truth is this. She doesn't test you because she wants you to fail. She tests because she's hoping you won't, because every part of her body has learned not to trust love. And your presence over time is the only thing that can undo that. Not your promises, your presence. Not once, again and again, especially when it's hard, especially when it's unfair, especially when it costs you something. That's when it starts to matter. Most men never reach this level. They stay stuck in resentment, confusion, avoidance. But you're not most men. If you've listened this far, if something in this message feels like truth, you already know. You don't need more techniques. You need more truth. And you're ready for it. This isn't theory. This is practice. These ideas have already changed lives, not just in books, but in real relationships, in real people who were drowning in disconnection and didn't know why. One man stopped trying to fix his wife's pain and finally just sat with her in it. She didn't need the solution. She needed to not be alone in the storm. And that one shift, it saved their marriage. Another woman, exhausted from pretending to be easy to love, allowed herself to speak her darkest truth. Her partner didn't run. He leaned in. For the first time, she felt chosen without performing. Even Freud, buried in the restrictions of his time, saw glimpses of this. He worked with women silenced for decades by roles they never chose. And when they were finally allowed to feel, really feel their symptoms softened. Not because someone healed them, but because someone finally heard them. This work is real, and it's raw, but it works. If you've seen yourself in these words, use them. Use them to stop pretending. Use them to build something honest, something that doesn't collapse the moment pain shows up. Because pain will come. But now, you know how to meet it. Not with panic, not with avoidance, with presence, with truth. If you understand what this is about, subscribe to the channel. Let the algorithm show this to those who are finally ready to see. And check the Telegram. The conversations there go even deeper. If you saw yourself in these words, write in the comments, "I no longer run from pain." If you're ready to meet your shadow, write, "My darkness is my strength." If you're done pretending, write, "I take off the mask." If this changed something in you, write, "I accept my shadow." Let's see how many of us are finally done hiding. This is only the beginning.